Hello. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I am audible.
Audible.
You are
Viju?
audible. You can continue, sir. You can continue.
Continue. Can we start?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. I, C. B. K. Mathur, the moderator of this webinar. We are delightful to welcome you all in this webinar, sir, which is being organized by our own prestigious CP committee of ICI. It is my pleasure to be a moderator of this webinar on anti-money laundering law and handling the faceless appeals. As you know, in today our changing professional scenario worldwide, the biggest challenge the professional face is how to stay on the top of their game while adapting the new requirements and norms. Therefore, it is imperative to aim to be up to the date to offer unique guidance, influence others with their innovative approach and expertise. It is also vital to stretch old ideas beyond traditional boundaries to create new perspectives. In this context, continuing professional education facilitates professionals to maintain, improve, and broaden their knowledge, skill, and expertise required to achieve their professional goals through webinars and seminars, etc. The program of this evening is in two sessions. First, anti-money laundering law and handling the faceless appeals. Before I call upon our Vice Chairman, Sir Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, Sir, I would like to introduce him. Our own Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, Sir, is a Central Council member of ICI for the term 2025 to 29. He is currently serves as the Vice Chairman of CP Committee and the Direct Tax Committee of ICI. With over 2 decades of experience, he specialized in income tax matters and also authored the book Landmark Judgment of Income Tax. He is not only engaging in his professional assignments, he is also well-versed, engaged in social engagement and community involvement. I call upon Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, sir, to his opening remarks.
Thank you, Mathur Sahab. Respected our own chairman of the CP committee, my colleague in the Central Council, CA Satish Gupta ji. Today's speaker on two important topics on the anti-money laundering, advocate CA Nivedha ji Sada, and handling the faceless appeal, CA Prasad Bhandari ji, my very good friend from Ahmednagar. Our secretary Ginni ji, and today's moderator Mathur Sahab. I welcome all my participant in this webinar because today we have chosen very important topic where only few chartered accountants are doing the practice in the anti-money laundering law, and again in the faceless appeal it is very hard to how to handle the faceless appeal. So today we have good speaker from Ahmednagar and from Jaipur, and very important topic on the subject because our few chartered accountants are only practicing this particular area. Friends, what CP committee we are doing. Our chairman sir is here, so it is protocol that our chairman, whenever chairman is here, so always apprise the about the committee by the chairman only. So friends, I'm vice chairman of the direct tax committee also. So just I brief about the direct tax committee, what we are doing at the direct tax committee. Friends, just we have came out with our income tax act with only 500 rupees, new income tax act 2025, and it is available on the self publication. So I request each one of you take the maximum benefit of our income tax act 2025. At the same time, we have also release all the checklist for the ITR, and it is hosted on the website. And we have also came out with the new guidance note for the 44AB tax audit report because date has been extended. So I request each one of you, wherever you face any difficulty, just to go through our guidance note on 44AB. Apart from these, friends, we have represented on the several issues, on the charitable issues, on the data extended also, and time to time we have interacted with the CBDT for the benefit of all the members across the country. Friends, it a CP committee also, we are doing so many work, just like real-time CP credit. Our chairman sir will apprise about this, the real-time CP credit, and so many new changes we have done in the direct tax committee and the CP committee. Friends, now I will not take much of the time because both of the speakers are learned speaker and so many participants are here today. So I will not take much of the time and stand between you and the speakers. So I straightway request our moderator to introduce our chairman of the committee so that he will apprise about the committee.
Thank you, Vishnu sir. Thank you very much for your word of wisdom. Now, before I call upon our own Satish Kumar Gupta Sahab, chairman of the webinar, I would like to introduce him. CA Satish Kumar Gupta ji is presently serving as the chairman of CP committee of our own prestigious institute, ICI. In addition to this role, he is also chairman of UDN Directorate and vice chairman of Committee of Members in Practice, CMP, for the current term. He is previously served as a council member of ICI for the term 2019 to 2022. He is a renowned speaker and author specializing in income tax assessment, searches, surveys, and professional development topics like goal setting and career planning. Apart from that, Satish Kumar Gupta sir is a very good person, very humble person, and he is the elder brother of. Now, I request Satish Gupta sir to take over the charge.
Thank you, BK. Thanks a lot. Honorable, I can say Nivedita is very like a sister, but she is doing great in Jaipur. She is a advocate. She turned chartered accountant. So really wonderfully, we are seeing that how wonderfully she is practicing at Rajasthan High Court and other high courts of the country also. And she is going to take very wonderful topic today, the anti-money laundering laws. Another renowned speaker, C.A. Prasad Bhandari ji, is also going to take another wonderful topic, that is the faceless appeal, where we all are facing the challenges. My brother in the council, who is not only vice chairman of this committee, he is vice chairman of direct tax committee also, but not only vice chairman, he is chairing several groups, several other subcommittees, and doing great work there in the interest of profession and fraternity. And CP committee secretary Ginni Goyal ji, CP team, tech team, and my dear friends who in very large number attending this particular webinar. So at the very outset, let me place my thank also to each one of you for attending the webinars regularly on every Wednesday and Friday. So friends, as instructed by Vishnu Bhai, I would start with the CPA committee. The CPA committee is focused this year on quality and availability of CPA programs. To ensure the quality of the programs, we are working that how we can implement the real-time CPA credit system this time, how we can improve the webinars. You are seeing that we are inviting the speakers not only from our country, we are inviting the speakers from the outside country also on different topics, citing the opportunities in their respective country. We are also inviting the speakers on industry specific topics so they can tell us the opportunities about their specific industry. Apart from this, we are also going to start first time a series of accounting standards and tax audit provisions. We will take 3 accounting standards and 3 clauses of the 3CD every day for 10 days just to tell the members that how these things are important for the profession. Friends, a very big question is coming as of now when we go for the UDIN. UDIN asks us whether your opinion is clean or if modified, then whether it is adverse or it is um, disclaimer, like these questions are being asked, and there several members are facing the problem how to go with these things. So I would just request all the members that kindly go through the SA 700 and SA 705. So if we go through these two standards on auditing, we will be in position to understand that when the modification is required and how which modification we should go, whether it is adverse opinion, whether it is qualified opinion, whether it is disclaimer, or if it is corporate, whether there is anything in the KF, KM, वगैरह, etc. So you will know what is the particular law about these particular modification in the report. So you should go only when there is impact on the financial statements of the auditee. I repeat, my dear friends, you need not to take that clause if you simply have given some observations in 3CD. Unless those observations or other observations, other qualifications, other things are impacting the financial statement, you need not to go for that particular clause of the UDIN. So we are also going to hold a special session on this particular topic. And we are also going to release the frequently asked questions very soon. So I think that both things will solve your this problem. Friends, I would also like to congratulate that after the decisions of various high courts, Honorable CBDT has come out with the date extension of the tax audit report, and I think following the Gujarat High Court decision, they will also come out with the notification of date extension of the income tax return for the audit entities. So we should wait for that also. But friends, I still want to make a request that this is a month where Diwali is there, and Diwali means a very good festival for all of us. We enjoy the Diwali in such a way that we at least 7 days are there. So you just think that it is only extension is not of 31 days, it is only 23 or 24 days. So plan your work accordingly, and don't expect any further extension. So try to go for the quality, try to go that you finish your work within that time, and also try to file the returns simultaneously. So with this, friends, I would also like to bring you that we are also having several initiatives in CP committee, in UDIN directorate, which we will brief wide notification very soon. I think you will be happy to know not all those changes. As far as CMP committee is concerned, friends, I would also like to brief something. As the vice chairman of committee for members in practice, we are bringing some small initiatives for the benefit of our members. Few I would like to tell here. One, we have made an arrangement with the SDFC Bank. If any member is interested in taking unsecured loan, whether it is overdraft or term loan, so we have the HDFC Bank will provide that loan to our members only at the rate of 10.6%, and 10.6% or 11.6%. So kindly see that if you are really interested in loan, to kindly go for that particular arrangement with the SDFC Bank. Likewise, we have made arrangement with the AU Bank also. So AU Bank is going to issue as a credit card, lifetime credit card. Credit card is not a very good thing as far as chartered accountants are concerned. But if the concern is of the benefits, then I just want to share that it is lifetime free, and it is giving us some airport lounges freely in a year. I think eight times you can use the domestic airport lounges. And apart from this, the credit card is allowing us the discount in our renewal fees of chartered accountancy to be paid to the ICI. That is, they are for this year they are providing a 25% discount on the renewal fees. So I think if we overall just make a calculation, and as a chartered accountant, it is a win-win situation because nothing is going. They are charging us, and all the they will allow us they will give us the credit card online. You need not to visit any bank or anything. They will all the procedure will be done online. So with these friends, I don't want to take much of your time, and I don't want to come in between Nivedita ma'am and all you who have come to listen her on the any anti-money laundering laws. But madam, I just want to share that what are the scheduled offences and what is the applicability of the PML Act at least. Please let the members know because there is a big confusion that income tax income tax act also is covered under the PMLA, or the GST act is also covered under PMLA. So we should share that particular what are the offences which are being covered, at least whether these two are covered or not. So I think members will be benefited by your deliberation definitely. And Prasad sir, you also try to tell the member that how to draft the appeal, and after drafting how to argue, and don't let them they should not forget to take the personal hearing opportunity of personal hearing. I think that will be again beneficial for the members. So thank you very much. Thanks a lot for coming. Thank you Nivedita ma'am, thank you Prashad sir, and thank you BK, and thank you team for giving me this
Thank you so much, sir.
opportunity. Thanks a lot. See you again. Thanks a lot. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir, for your word of wisdom and giving so nice knowledge about the UDN and others. Now, it is time to begin the first technical session on anti-money laundering law. It is my privilege to invite Advocate CA Nivedita ma'am to deliver on anti-money laundering law. First, I would like to introduce her. Advocate CA Nivedita Sarda Madam is a rank holder chartered accountant, certified treasury manager, and lawyer with 2 decades of experience advising domestic and multinational corporations on complex financial, legal, and regulatory matters. She has been recently featured in Forbes India August 2025 edition and honored with the Transaction Rising Star Award in Dubai 2025, reflecting her growing global recognition and leadership in the profession. May I invite now Advocate CA Shada ma'am to kindly take over the session. Over to ma'am. Ma'am, please.
Hello, and good evening to all my fellow chartered accountants and colleagues. It's indeed a pleasure to talk about one of the difficult law which has been now given a teeth in 2016. And all of a sudden, which the transactions which were treated to be a regular transaction, or I might say a covered transaction, has now become an illicit transaction, making them legally enforceable and also embracing not just the general public, but chartered accountant as a professional into its ambit. So, before actually going on and dealing with each type of schedule offense which has been mentioned and which has been treated under PMLA, I'd like to first get a gist about all the major transactions which, in the view of the existing PMLA, is treated to be a matter of concern, where I may say every chartered accountant face through some way or other a transaction which comes to its knowledge while going through its audit, and which it may and may not be able to identify itself that it is a transaction where we say it is a PMLA transaction or a transaction which is covered under PMLA. So let me start with one of the most famous one, if you and I must say, with the change in the laws, with a lot of precautions being put into, this particular transaction has been reduced but not eliminated. If few people are aware, the transaction is called smurfing. What is smurfing? So, smurfing is basically a transaction where a large sum of money is divided into small portions, and then they are deposited to make it a legitimate money. So this transaction where we say that you should not deposit more than 20,000 rupees a day, or there should not be a transaction of more than 2 lakh rupees per year for a particular person. There are transactions which come into notice where these large amount of sums are being converted into small transactions less than 20,000 or maybe less than 2 lakh rupees per person and are deposited. The other word called is smurfing. And this transaction is very well dealt under PMLA. It is beyond income tax, and it is something which we only look from the point of view of the income tax, but it is not. Even if you are covered, even if you save your client or the client save itself from this area, smurfing is one of the structured transactions which has been recognized under PMLA as a part of dirty money or as a part of application of PMLA. Now, another thing which you're going to see, which is a very common thing, is where there's a very cash heavy business. Like, for example, a restaurant or a movie theater or a car wash. So what they do is intentionally, they overstate their daily sales. So something like if your restaurant is having a sales of say 50,000 rupees a day, they will make it look like 80,000 rupees a day. And this type of a record keeping is being made where the illegal cash is being brought into the system through deposit of legitimate earnings also. The problem which you may face, or by which it has been recognized, and I must say it has been recognized on and off, is when actual quantitative counting is being done. So if one of your clients or any of the people have come into a radar to identify whether a money laundering act has been carried out at a particular place, then that recce will happen and you will be able to caught on that dirty act. Another thing which is very commonly done is, and I must say, PMLA becomes more active not when you file a return. It becomes more active when there is a search, or when there is not a search at your end, but a search to a third party where your money has reached by one form or other. So you may not be directly involved, but you get involved through a third party. Another which is very, very common and for which we have been a lot of times saying that it is a FEMA non-compliance, or it is a foreign exchange and not applicable on anybody, or we are doing a foreign travel, we know what we need to do. What major mistakes is done is that you use cash to either purchase foreign currency or purchase traveler checks or maybe money orders. These components of cash purchases, which you assume is not in the eyes of anybody, comes into the eyes when there is a actual expenditure happens. We have been dealing with a lot of cases where a person travels to another country, and he may be a regular traveler also. He travels to another country, he books his hotel and flights from India, he carries a cash which he has not booked into his accounts, make the basic spending even of buying food and vehicle, and those spending which he has done for food and vehicle is not accounted for because he has not shown in his book that he is carrying any cash out of India. Now, when you do not do that, you give a very large area open to the assessing authorities to identify what could be your expenditure over there. And then they do not limit themselves only to the expenditure which you have made or could have made in foreign currency. They put it on everything and every transaction which you have carried out being out of India. So this is one very common area where PMLA has been drawn in very, very regularly. Then there is again another one which is again very profoundly used is an illegal loan repayment. So you take a loan which is a legitimate business loan, but you deposit cash which is not accounted for in your books for the repayment of the loan, for the very basic reason that there is not a reporting which is happening by the banks to the ED or to RBI or to an income tax authority regarding the repayment of loan. So there again, people make this mistake of depositing cash for repayment of legitimate loans. These are what we say the first structure where money laundering transactions happen. Now take you the second structure where money laundering transactions happen. And mind it, if you want me to talk about something else, please do come up and say. But I really want, since we all are chartered accountants, we see money very closely. And we have been into the books of almost all of our clients. We understand these transactions, but we ignore these transactions. My suggestion is stop wherever you are. Do observe those transactions, have a noting on them, and take care that they are being reported, or they are being reported at least to the client, stating that if you're trying to fool me, it is not necessary you'll be able to fool others. So I'm covering up all those transactions from my point of view. I'm trying to give you as many as possible so that you can educate your client that these are still a money laundering transaction and should be avoided for. Now, the first one which I've told, first type of transactions which I told was, like, we call it a placement transaction, more apparent, more visible. If somebody sit down and start looking into it, they will able to see it. The second type of transaction, which is less apparent, is layering. I think so. All of you are aware what I mean by layering. Means the source of fund, the ownership for fund belongs to somebody else, and you do not receive it directly. You receive it through a particular chain. The moment you receive it, you may say that, okay, I'm not aware who is holding that money or who that money belongs to. But I tell you, these are the maximum number of cases which we deal with when we are into money laundering under PMLA. And the resultant is, a lot of time we say the people whose actual money is involved get bear the butt because they have not actually tried to identify the source of money. So I'll give you very few examples for layering, and I think so you will be able to identify how it happens, because I think so a lot of chartered accountants are aware how the layering happens, and if they are not, then they should be. The first and foremost is when we say they are shell companies. I have seen, in fact, my recent experience has told me that this type of layering, which I'm talking about, is happening where the money is related to bureaucrats, where the money is related to major big fund houses, and it is also sometimes related to cash generated through a real estate transactions. So, what generally happens is that this type of layering happens either in the form of that you have a shell company. In that shell company, the proceeds of crimes are being parked. From there, they actually make an investment in one company and then to another company. And by the time it has come to you, you assume that the money which is coming to you is a clean money. First of all, it doesn't become a clean money. I can just give you an example of one of the very high stake cases, that is about Adarsh Cooperative Society. Now, in that case, the money which flew to the last bottom of the pit, it had about 18 layers before it reached to that pit. And I'll tell you, for you to prove that you are not a part of these 18 is more difficult and more non-feasible than the department to prove that this money which has reached you has been through the layer and it is a proceeds of crime. So, my humble submission to all of you, please check out on layering. The type of transactions which you can find in layering is when there is a shell company involved, means any of the sources is a shell company or a non-operating entity from which you have received the money, or where you have received the money from a jurisdiction which is for which you don't have a proper knowledge. I suggest, if it is a jurisdiction out of your jurisdiction, means suppose you are a company based in Jaipur and you receive money, say for example, Odisha or Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, please do try to find out the background source of that money which is coming to you, because the moment it is out of your jurisdiction, you do not have a control about whatever the matters are being pending against them. Maybe the promoters, or maybe the companies, or maybe the person who is sending you the money. Then another form of transaction is where you have a fictitious invoicing. We chartered accountant are very well aware that what is invoicing, what is bill of lading, whether there's a transaction, no transaction. Everything is something like we can get aware of when we actually look into the documents. But a lot of time we do not make an effort, or we make an effort, but we do not do to the extent of reporting, or we do all those things, but then also sometimes we let it go. These transactions, which are basically fictitious invoicing, whether it is through you, by you, from you, or to you, all of them is a part of PMLA. They are not just income tax offense, it is a PMLA offense. And I request you, please be conscious about what you are doing or what you are protecting over there. They are covered under PMLA. Then, of course, loan is you must be aware that there are a lot of ICD transactions which happens. Even the ICD transactions which happen through an NBFC could be fictitious transactions. You should be careful that whether the NBFC which is giving you a loan has enough books and strength in his books to give you a loan or not. These are, of course, I'll not mention, very few others are like when there is a gambling or winning money, or when there is a high value good which is purchased and then it is being sold at a lower value, or a lower value good is purchased and sold in a higher value, or maybe an insurance product which is purchased in cash. These all transactions are layered transactions where we say that different layers are being put on the illicit money and they are being put into the system so that this could be absorbed. In few cases, it could be absorbed. In few cases, it may go unnoticed. But again, I tell you, there is no time period by which it could not be unearthed. And if it is unearthed at one place, the whole chain will be unearthed. Let's take it top to bottom. So ascendants and descendants all are put into a trouble because of this transactions. Now, another type of transactions which we have seen, which has been vehemently been argued at PMLA, are the real estate transactions. How real estate? So we say real estate is only about purchase of asset and sale of asset, and there's a money involved and there is a cash involved. So these are the only places, but that is not so. We have seen that there is a lot of layering which happen in real estate transactions. So, for example, you have actually purchased a particular piece of property where you have made a part payment from an individual's account and a part payment has gone through a company's account. And then there is a layering happened because the cash payment is also happening. What we have realized is a lot of time MCA raised concern under 185 or 187. And when these transactions are unearthed, these cash components actually come into play and the matters are referred to PMLA. So, the unearthing by the income tax department or a company law department or a GST or narcotics all could be referred to PMLA if the money which is involved shows that it has not moved through a clean channel, or it has moved but it has not reached to a clean channel, or it is not clean at all. I can give you another example. So a long-term construction loan is taken by an infrastructure company. Now, it has taken it through a fund, and that fund was in existence when the loan was taken. After 2 years, we came to know the fund was not in existence. And by the time this whole fiasco, this money was supposed to be repaid, there was nobody there to repay the loan. What happens of this money? And what shall it be treated as? This money is definitely being treated under PMLA by the government. And then not only this amount is confiscated, a lot of time this amount plus the penalties which comes on the other assets of the person is also confiscated. So please be sure that whatever is your source of money is a very strong source. Another common issue which we see, and there is a lot of working which is happening, which has been taken care of, which has been tried out, I think so, which a chartered accountant can definitely work on, is where there is a sale of overpriced or fictitious intellectual property rights. It's a very, very dangerous area to work in, but it is happening. Whether it is by way of sale and purchase of IP, it could be by way of sale and purchase of luxury assets, or it could be by way of settlement of litigation. These three major areas is where the money is being set right, and they are being they are being, what do you say, camouflaged as a legal money. And in case we say, for example, for intellectual property rights, if the department raised the question that the valuation which you have done is not appropriate and therefore you are liable to extra tax in the income tax, please mind it, it is not just income tax which is going to come on you. There is a chances that PMLA will also be active against you. There could be an action which could be taken under PMLA also for that amount of transaction. Similarly, it's the same thing happen where you are not able to identify who is the final beneficial owner. So again, when we say there is a layering which has been happening on and off, especially we see that happening in the securities market. It's a very, very common thing that the beneficial owner of a particular transaction is different than the person who's actually doing the transaction. It has been covered both under PMLA and Benami to catch hold of the person to whom this asset or this money belongs to. And then this amount is confiscated, the penalty comes, and it may also result into prosecution. So, other than what has been the schedule offense, which a person assume that I have not done a schedule offense and therefore I'm not covered under PMLA, it is not restricted to that. There are different layers which has been identified, which been put through, and a lot of time for them to tell you that you are an accused, only they need to assess whether you had a very close connection or you had enough connection with the actual accused to pull you inside. I think so. This is the area which I feel was important to be understood, and I generally say that PMLA is more in a nature of a parasitic law, where you are not alone is put into things. If it comes to you, it comes to a lot more people who are attached to you in one form or the other. And it spreads very fast because whoever and whosoever is there in your books of accounts will be called upon to prove that the transaction which has been happening with them is a genuine transaction. Now, let me take you to certain offenses which are covered under various different acts, but they are still covered as a part of PMLA. So, under Indian Penal Code, they cover the terms related to criminal conspiracy, counterfeiting currency. They even include the terms called extortion, cheating, forgery. These laws, even though it is a part of IPC, their execution and their investigation can still happen under PMLA. Similarly, your offenses related to drug manufacturing, possession of drugs, or sale of drugs, which has been prohibited, is covered under PMLA. Unlawful possession or sale of prohibited arms, again, it is covered under PMLA. Hunting or trading in prohibited wild animals, offenses related to trafficking and exploitation. Mind it, I'm just letting you know that since we assume that these are covered under a particular law, say for example, I say offenses relating to trafficking and exploitation, it is offense under Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956. However, the financial transactions of these acts are still covered under PMLA, and your financial movement under these acts will be governed through PMLA with a confiscation, even with a prosecution if required. Then your SEBI, the acts which is covered under Security and Exchange Board of India Act 1992, there are certain offenses like trading and fraudulent market manipulation, insider trading, you're trading beyond the limits on which you're working. All of these are also a part of PMLA and they are prosecuted under PMLA. Of course, you very well are aware about the Customs Act, which is covered. Your criminal misconduct as a public servant, that is your Corruption Act. Again, it is covered under PMLA. Your offenses related to false declaration, evasion of duties, or prohibited goods, they are also covered under PMLA. So that's why I'm saying that it's not just the offense which has been assumed to be under different acts, They are offenses which are covered under PMLA for the reason that the money involved in these acts are treated to be proceeds of crime and hence are liable to be prosecuted, confiscated, and charged with under PMLA. Okay. Now, this is one side of the things. What is the second side of the things which you will like to know when we are talking about PMLA? Do we have any questions?
Ma'am, all the questions are available and will be taken up at the end of the session, at the end of your session.
End of my session. Okay. Okay. So now let's take to the second part of the things. That is, how are these offenses identified? So there are two type of working which happens in a PMLA. One is when a particular matter is referred for PMLA. So income tax authority can refer a matter to PMLA, GST, customs, anti-corruption department, your other than that, even your police department, narcotics, they refer a particular matter to PMLA. That is basically the PMLA. For PMLA, the adjudicating authorities enforcement directorate. So they refer a matter to enforcement directorate. This is one way. Secondly, there are special reports which are being generated every quarter, which has been sent to the enforcement department as a part of their regular verification. And there is chances that in that special report, one of your transactions may have been highlighted stating that this particular transaction we are not very comfortable about, or we feel that this transaction is being carried around without proper backing. Then also those particular transactions becomes a cause of initiating an examination against you. So generally for a PMLA, there are two type of things the way it happens. One is there could be a raid or a seizure by the enforcement directorate. They will come at your place. They will, like an income tax search, they seize whatever documents they find. They confiscate whatever is happening there. They seize all their money. So this type of a raid is being done. But generally when the search an action by way of search has been made, it is made at a group of people, and as an income tax, a proper recce is being done, and then only the raid is being done and the papers are documented. When such a type of transaction happens, then other than the person to whom the raid has happened, whatever documentations they receive, they generally initiate the proceedings to them. And what they initially do is they will going to confiscate whatever assets they find at your place, and then they start with their investigation. A normal course, you will receive a summon from them asking them to provide a certain type of information which they feel could give them further digging into the matter which is pending with them, or maybe a transaction pending with them. Once they are satisfied that the documents which are received from your end is more than sufficient, they do their investigation from the documents which they receive from you, collate the documents which they receive from third parties, match them, mismatch them. Then they call you for your statements and for your witnesses. And based on your statement, witnesses, documents they have collected, the conclusions they have drawn, they send you a show cause notice asking you to tell them why this particular type of charges should not be levied against you. In case they have confiscated something against you, they have to, within 6 months of that confiscation, has to convert it from a provisional confiscation to a final confiscation. And for that, the order has been released. So this is a procedure which starts from 6 months up to maybe almost 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. It takes for final order to come to you, which is generally need to be addressed at Economic Offence Court, for the reason that they identify who are the accused who have been involved in the transactions of money laundering. What are those transactions according to them? Where has that money been parked? Whether it is in the liquid form or maybe into a property or maybe something like that. And then, other than the main accused, there will be a lot more other people who shall be accused, co-accused. Then there will be people who should to with whom the proceeds of crime is being identified to be parked. So even those people, they are brought into the net, their particular assets are being seized, and then the matter is carried forward to prove whether they are falling under them or not. So then this matter moved from the court of ED to they file their charge sheet with Economic Offence Court, and then the matter is run over there. However, for an order of an ED under PMLA, there could be certain confiscation of your assets for which an appeal do lie under a PMLA tribunal in Delhi, where you can say why this asset does not, should not be confiscated, or it is not a proceeds of crime. This is what is the procedural aspect which is being followed under PMLA before you actually get an order, or you say final confiscation of the assets. Prosecutions are generally confined only to the people who are accused under the act. I think so. I like to take questions more, because it's otherwise it will look like I'm just explaining the act and not what is the practical applicability of these. Akshat, I'm open for questions.
Akshat. Hello, Akshat. I am audible. Actually, there is no question at all, madam.
Oh, okay.
Ma'am, one question from my side.
Please.
Yeah. Actually, one of my clients is having a patented thing. He's having a
Okay.
patent of that fully registered on his name. And there is someone who is a foreign buyer would like to buy that commodity from him.
Right.
So how he shall transact that deal? Means by taking care of all these PMLA also.
So I'll suggest two things which he should do.
Yeah.
First, since his good is already patented, and I understand whatever is the requirement for which the other buyer is willing to purchase the goods, he should first establish the credibility of the buyer, because
Okay.
that is where the things happen. If it is a buyer, is a person who is already working in this particular area for which he has got a good patented, or he already is into a manufacturing line of the type of goods for which he has taken a patent, then it is a genuine sale. However, if it is just a person who is like looking forward to buy and he doesn't have his own credentials, he may have money. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about whether the goods, the patent could be actually put to use. So he should have a credibility to put the patent to use. If he just look like a broker, then your problem starts from there, because once it looks like a broker, we are saying that this IP is being overinflated.
Okay.
Secondly, he should get a valuation done on the basis of, had this thing actually put to use, and is there is a manufacturing done because of that patent? What should be the super profits which are going to come to the company? On that basis, I think so he should use some very reputed firm for a valuation. There are, for IP, there are few firms which are very, very reputed, are treated to be well renowned for calculation of IP valuation all over the world. I suggest if he is not selling it in India and selling outside India, he should use any one of those firms. The fees for that may be very high, but still it will ensure that whatever he is receiving is not a money which has been overstated.
Okay.
So if he
And what-
takes care of these two things, I think so this concept will be settled.
And what if that commodity is if having historical importance?
Then it is not a patented thing, I understand. Patent and historical
But he is
importance.
saying, yeah, but he is saying that rather than patent, he is having a registration from the government of India that he is a holder of this thing, and that
Okay,
thing
so
he
it is
wants to
something
sell
like
it
a
to the.
luxury asset.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
take
yeah.
it as it is a luxury
maybe
asset.
yeah. It's that kind of thing.
Yes. So, in fact, yes, I understand. See, in luxury asset, it is very difficult to prove whether what the other party is paying to you is reasonable or not reasonable, or type of a thing. What we generally suggest to them is that if you're going for a luxury asset, try to take quotations at least for more than 2 buyers
Okay.
of the same property, and let the buyer maybe a genuine person per se. If these two things are being established and there is no reason, or I'll say the reason of source of his money is not being doubtful, then even a luxury asset could be, a change of hands is doable. It's more about taking care of the documentation part of it, that from where he is getting his source of money and who he is per se for purchasing a luxury asset, and whether he already owns something of these assets as a transaction. Generally, there are few broker houses established in India and outside India also, which gives you an approximate quotation and valuation of those luxury assets before it has been put to
Okay.
stake.
Whether consideration can be received in virtual digital asset?
Can be received in?
Virtual digital, say Bitcoin.
It can be received in what?
Say virtual digital asset, say Bitcoin.
There is no restriction per se to receive in virtual
There would not be
assets.
any
There is
invocation
no
of the provision of
restrictions.
PMLA.
Not directly. Not directly that it is since it is in a virtual asset, it is under PMLA. Only problem is when things are received in virtual assets, it's very difficult to prove that it was worth it, the amount which you are talking about, because it has not moved to the banking transactions.
Okay. Just,
That's the only risk. Otherwise, no,
just,
it's not a reason to believe that it is a asset which has been drawn to PMLA.
okay, but
No.
but it is necessary to see the source of this money of the buyer, even if it's outside India.
Yes, that's very important. Yes, yes, yes. In fact, we say always, like, whenever you are doing a transaction where the money is coming from out of India, or money is coming from a source where you may have a doubt that the source is not reliable, please do a thorough due diligence to ensure that the money is through a right channel. A large size transaction definitely needs so.
Okay. Thank you.
Because the layering is the most common thing which is happening, where the money is being camouflaged.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Is there any provision of FEMA that consideration can be received in crypto? FEMA does not deal with crypto at all. So it's not giving you permission to receive your transactions through crypto. FEMA very categorically says that whatever transaction happens, it should happen through the banking channel only. So when you do a transaction through crypto, you need to prove why the transaction is legitimate, not the other way around.
A question came, ma'am.
Yes, please.
I read out the question. Question from Suresh Kumar. He's asking where we need to report PMLA cases, and on preliminary understanding, if we report the cases and say after audit or investigation is proved it is not fall under PMLA, then what would happen to person who report case?
You generally give a unanimous undisclosed information for these matters. You can also become a source by which you can say that I have information regarding the transaction which is illicit transaction, and there are public forums. There's also a website by ED which has been run for PMLA reporting. You can give the information over there, but even though you are anonymous while giving it, they will not consider it till the time you establish your identity with them. So I think so. If it is proved that is not so, then whomsoever against whomsoever you have given that information will be more concerned than actually the department himself.
I hope Suresh Kumar ji, you have received your answer, please. Madam, a question from my side.
Yes, please.
Who can be the parties in the PMLA transactions? Say, in the case of audit, assessee has done the fake invoices.
Right.
Or some overshown the expenditures in the profit and loss account. And he has made the vouchers, but the auditor knows these expenditures are bogus.
Please give
So
a
whether-
qualification in your report. Your qualification in the report will be more than sufficient to elicit him under a PMLA. You need
Who
not
can be
even.
chartered accountant can be a party in the PMLA transactions if he does not report in the audit report.
A chartered accountant can be the person who's the informant. There is no restriction on that. I am not able to hear. Jagdish ji, there is a sound which is coming from your end.
I read
Are you
out the
willing
question.
to contribute?
A question has came, ma'am.
Yes,
May I
please.
read it?
Yes, please.
If someone is trading in cryptocurrency in large volume and it's handling unable to verify, how to check PMLA with respect to this?
It's the PMLA, boss.
If
Sir,
someone
if
is
you cannot establish the source of investment in cryptocurrency, the lost whatever. If you can give me the source, that okay, this is my source by which I purchased the cryptocurrency, I traded it to cryptocurrency, this is my profit, I have booked, given my tax. Whole amount is not a PMLA. It's initial source, or you do not have, or you have not disclosed the profits which you have earned on it, or losses you have made on it. Then, by the amount of the profit which you have made, that part becomes a money laundered amount. So you mix with legitimate and non-legitimate, and you actually convert the whole amount into a money laundering, illicit crime amount, proceeds of crime. So everything starts with the source. If your source is clear, whether you deal in cryptocurrency or not doesn't make a difference. Cryptocurrency become a commodity if your source of income, source of funds is a legal amount.
Okay. A question from Kunal. What are the penalty for PMLA transactions?
It could be up to 3 times of the amount which has been confiscated.
Okay, ma'am. All the questions has taken up.
Thank you so much. And thank you
Thank
for
you,
giving me some opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. On behalf of the ICI, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude for your knowledge bearing and insightful and thought-provoking deliberation to all of us. We highly thanks. We appreciate your time, efforts, and expertise which you have shared with us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, ma'am.
I just wanted to confirm you one more thing, which may I have missed out saying, that concealment of any of these transactions is also a crime under PMLA. So if you are a chartered accountant, you are aware about that these crimes are happened or happening, and it has gone through you, then the concealment of this crime is also has the same impact as you have done the crime under PMLA. So these days, that's why the chartered accountants are also being called upon as accused under PMLA.
Thank you,
So
ma'am.
please
We will take
become
care
a
of
bit
it.
more a watchdog.
We will take care of it. All
Thank
these
you very
transactions.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now it is time to begin our second technical session on handling faceless appeals. It is my privilege to invite C.A. Prasad Bhandari to deliver the words of wisdom on handling faceless appeals. Before it, I would like to introduce him. It is my duty to introduce him. C.A. Prasad Bhandari is a practicing chartered accountant since 2005 with core expertise in handling all types of litigation of income tax. He is a director and technical faculty of a professional academy, a pioneer in CA coaching. He has been delivering lecture on direct tax for over 10 years. He has also been a regular CP faculty and has delivered numerous lectures across colleges and educational institutes for last 20 years. May I request CA Prashant Bhandari Saab to take over the charge of this technical session handling the faceless appeals. Please, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, BK Mathur sir. Respected Chairman of CP Committee, Satish Kumar Gupta sir. Respected Vice Chairman, CA Vishnu Kumar Agarwal sir. And the moderator of the session, BK Mathur sir. The Secretary, Ginni Goyal Madam. The Speaker of the first session, Nivedita Madam. All the team of this CP Committee. A very good evening to all of you and all the participants. So at the outset, I shall thank to the CP Committee Chairman and Vice Chairman for giving me this second opportunity to deliver the lecture on this webinar. So my topic for this is handling the faceless assessment, rather faceless appeals. In the earlier session, I've taken this faceless assessment. Now it is time to discuss on these faceless appeals. So let me share my PPT first, then we will go discussing thereon. Okay, now this is, see, right now this is very, very important that we are facing many difficulties since this, all the assessments and appeals have been transformed into the faceless mode, faceless regime, right? Because there is no face. Even we ask for the virtual hearing, there is no face we can see of the officer. There is a black screen. We will discuss during this. So only we can say that it's a communication through the electronic mode. And whatever communication we have to make, it is only the written communication, and exceptionally in case of VC, that's to some extent it is a verbal communication, but that too only the one-way communication, we can say. Right. So one by one, we will not go into much technicalities. We will discuss on the practical issues, and all the questions would be rather welcome in this regard, so that I can also give my opinion on that, and I can take a new knowledge from all the questions, and hope that this would be a very interactive session from my side also. You can quote as per the procedure. You can quote your questions. Then at the end we will take all the questions. So here, as far as this objectives are concerned, this is a theoretical point. The objective of this is having this greater efficiency, transparency, and accountability by eliminating the human interference. See, we know that total human interface has been eliminated in this faceless. The main reason is that to reduce this corruption. The main reason, because we know that in case of not in all cases, but this is the main motto of the government, to eliminate the human interface, to have more transparency in the matters, in the appeals, in the communications between the officers and the SSC. So main reason was to reduce this corruption in this case. So is eliminating the human interface, then optimizing the use of resources from the department point of view also, and from our point of view, from SSC point of view also, from the representative point of view, the consultant, the chartered accountant point of view also. Because see, earlier in the face-to-face era, we had to go to the office, we have to collect all the papers, and we have to go to the office, we have to wait to for our turn to come, and for one case we would have to lose our whole day. Now, as far as the faceless is concerned, we are sitting in our chair in the table, then we are attending, we are making the submission as per our convenient 24/7. We need not to wait for anything. Whenever the submission comes, we can file it one, two, multiple times. We can file it at any convenient time. There is no time, because it's 24/7. You can upload the information. So this is the conveniency. This is the cost cutting also. As far as the department is also concerned, they need not to go physically from one place to another. The person may be posted at one place, may be stationed at his suitable place. So as far as the government side is concerned, there is optimization of resources. As far as our side is also concerned, there is optimization of resources. This is a good point for both of us. Then introducing the appellate system is a dynamic jurisdiction. Dynamic jurisdiction in that, as far as this system is concerned, we will not go into the much technicalities that how the National Faceless Appeal Center works at New Delhi. When the assessment unit is there, then there is a automated assessment, automated allotment system is there. How it works, because we are struggling with our problems only. We need not to go to their issues, and that at all not relevant to for us also. So here, dynamic jurisdiction. Earlier, in the face-to-face era, we were knowing that who is our commissioner of appeal, or now from 1/4/2023, who is the joint commissioner of appeal. Now here, as far as this faceless is concerned, the dynamic jurisdiction means our jurisdiction may go to any CIT. We are sitting in Pune or we are sitting in Kerala, but our jurisdiction may go to Delhi, maybe go to Calcutta, may go to Tripura, at anywhere in India. So that is a dynamic jurisdiction, and it is not a single person taking the decision. Decision being taken by that the concerned CIT also. The order is reviewed by the assessment unit also. Then again, if there would be any review that is being made, and then it is being forwarded to the NFAC, and then NFAC get communicated with the SSC. Right. So this is a dynamic jurisdiction. As far as background is concerned, the faceless scheme is enabled under Section 250, subsection 6B and 6D of the Act. Then this scheme is administered totally by the NFAC, that is National Faceless Appeal Center, which is at New Delhi. As far as the legal framework is concerned, Section 246A is their appealable order which are given. We will discuss some of, because the list is given, which are the appealable order. We will discuss few examples that which are the orders which are not appealable, where there is no appeal before the CIT appeal. Then 249 forms of appeal and limitations. 250 is a procedure appeal. With a relevant part we will discuss. 251 powers of the commissioner, then CBDT notifications, schemes, and faceless appeal scheme. This is the total legal framework. One by one we will discuss. So coming to first is that is the 246A, that is appealable order. As I said, the list is there. We are all capable enough to know that which order against which order we can file appeal. But there are certain orders where you cannot file the appeal. There is no option again. There is only option to file a writ in the High Court. So first is order refusing to condone the delay in filing the return under Section 119(2)(b). So 119(2)(b), if there is delay in filing your return, then you have to file an application before the PCIT or maybe PCCIT or maybe with the CBDT, depending upon your quantum. So if there is rejection, if there is dismissal of this delay condonation, and if CIT or PCIT or respective authority rejects your application, then against that order, there is no remedy to go before CIT appeal. Against that order, if you want to file appeal, you have to go to the High Court only. Then order under 197, you have applied for the low tax certificate or no tax certificate, and they have rejected your application, then again the no appeal lies before the CIT appeal. Order under 222A, that is waiver of interest. You have filed this application before the CIT or PCIT or respective authority for waiver of interest. Again, there is no appeal against this order before the CIT appeal. Then again, 263 and 264, these are the revisionary orders by the CIT or PCIT. Again, this 263 or 264, this cannot lie before the CIT appeal because it's a parallel jurisdiction. Against the 263, you have to go to the tribunal, and against the 264, there is no remedy to go to the tribunal, to ITAT. You have to file the appeal before High Court only. Against 263, you can go to the ITAT, but against 264, therefore, whenever, see, 263 is for the revenue, 264 is for the SSC. So at the time of filing the application for revision petition under 264 before the learned CIT appeal, learned CIT, that is jurisdictional CIT or PCIT, you have to take utmost care. You have to see that this application is that which has to be accepted. The contents or whatever the ground you have taken, make sure that this has to be accepted in any case by the PCIT or the CIT, jurisdictional CIT. Right? If you have some doubt in that, then don't go for 264. It is better option to go for appeal, because there are layers are there, steps are there. If CIT appeal reject, then you go to the ITAT. If ITAT reject, go to the High Court. But in case your 264 has been rejected by the CIT or PCIT, then you have no alternate but to go to the High Court again under Article 226 or 227 to file the writ. So there is only writ. So therefore, be careful while filing the revision petition under Section 264. For 119 2B, 197, 222A, there is no option for CIT appeal. But 263 go to ITAT, for 264 and all other first 1, 2, 3 cases go in the High Court directly. Then Section 249, that is forms of appeal and limitation. So one by one, the form has been specified. That is form number 35. We have to file at the time of filing that. So what are the precautions we have to take? We will discuss later on. Then time limit, within which time you have to file the appeal. So whenever you receive the order of assessment, and see, main important here, what is given, it is not the date of assessment order or receipt of date of assessment order or the appeal order appealed against. It is the service of the notice of demand. It is a service of notice of demand. So you have to file the appeal within 30 days from the date of service of notice of demand relating to the assessment. Now, as far as the faceless is concerned, the date of issue is same as date of service, because the date of notice and the date of service is same in case of faceless regime. Why? Because once it's put on the your portal, when it is issued, as good as it is being served, right? When immediately in some time gap, it gets reflected on your portal. So in case of faceless regime, the date of issue and date of service is one and the same thing. Right. Then as far as appeal fee is concerned, so what is the appeal fee at the time of filing this appeal? So it is depending upon the assessed income in the assessment order. Right. So assessed income is 1 lakh or less, then you have to pay a fees of 250 rupees in a challan. What precaution has to be taken in the challan, that we will discuss later on. Then if it is up to 1 lakh rupees assessed income, it is, I am not talking about the addition made in the assessment order, but it is the assessed income. If it is up to 1 lakh, then it is 250 rupees. Then assessed income is more than 1 lakh, but up to 2 lakh, then it is 500 rupees. And appeal involving total assessed income more than 2 lakh, then it is 1000 rupees. Means maximum appeal fees is to be paid is 1 lakh rupees. And in any other case, it is 250 rupees. Means in case of a penalty or in case of a ATG approval, rejection under ATG, rejection under 12A, right? Appeal against 154. So in that case, you have to pay 250 rupees fees only, right? Okay. So here, as far as when you will file the form number 35, so you have to fill all the columns thoroughly. You have to check it again and again, right? Because there should not be any defect in filing this certificate. This is a normal procedure. We must know that what is to be inserted there, right? But it should be what are the document to be inserted? What are document to be attached along with form number 35? So if it is order against the assessment order, then assessment order must be there. Penalty order, if you are appealing against the penalty order, then penalty order. Appeal fee challan is must. Then statement of fact. We'll see how the statement of fact to be prepared. Then also we'll see that how the grounds of appeal shall be prepared and what are the precautions to be taken in grounds of appeal. If it is an appeal against the imposition of penalty, also attach the assessment order in which the penalty has been levied, in which the penalty has been initiated. Right. So it is you have to attach the penalty order also and the assessment order in which that penalty which has been imposed has been initiated. You have to attach that also. If there is a delay in filing this appeal, say time limit is of 30 days, but in if there is a sufficient cause that because of that you have been prevented to file the appeal, then you can file the appeal with the delay condonation. And it shall, along with this delay condonation letter, you have to file the affidavit also explaining the reason thereof. We will also talk on about this affidavit later on. Then delay condonation in filing the appeal. Of course, SSC has the right to file the appeal along with delay condonation. It is not if the 30 days limit has been expired, then you cannot file the appeal. You can file the appeal, but along with this delay condonation, you have to file the affidavit of the SSC stating that what are the reasons due to which there was delay in filing the appeal. Right. So application must be supported with the affidavit stating that the reasonable cause for non-filing of the same in the time limit of 30 days, along with the supporting document. So that may be the medical reason. So you should get a medical papers. You may get the doctor certificate. You have to, or you may be involving in any matter. So whatever is the reason and all the supporting documents there. So you have to file that, and you have to prepare an affidavit for that. Right, you have to prepare an affidavit for that, right, and attach it separately. Don't write there, because there are there is limitation to the words. So you may simply say that as per annexure, then you may attach the annexure there too, for the delay condonation application also, and you have to attach the affidavit also. You have to proper. The question may come that whether that affidavit may be must be notarized or not. Not necessary. It may be self-attested. It may be self-attested. Not necessary. There is no legal binding that affidavit must be notarized. Right. So it may be self-attested. If this delay condonation has been rejected by the CIT appeal, CIT will reject that your appeal cannot be, because you have not produced the sufficient cause or reasonable cause, right, by which you have prevented to file the appeal. So simple remedy with you that you can file the appeal to the ITAT and get it back, get it remanded back to the CIT appeal. Then here on this reasonable grounds, the ITAT set aside that order for statistical purposes and remand it back to the file of the CIT appeal. So even if it has been rejected, then you can file the appeal before ITAT and get it back set aside to the file of the CIT appeal. Right. So no worry in that. Even your grounds have been, your ground of condonation has been rejected. Right. Okay. Then, as I said, you have to take a precaution while filing, while paying the appeal fees. Right. Sometimes what happens, we make the, see, firstly, you have to see that this appeal has been filed. Yes. Here, this first is non-company deductee or company deductee as per the status of that SSC. Then tax on regular assessment. You have to tick on 400, tax on regular assessment. In that, you have to select other. I have highlighted it at the end. Others. Sometimes what happens, we pays it in the income tax column. There is the first column. And here we pays 1,000 rupees. And what happens when we file the return of income, in any case for that assessment year, right, then it gives you the credit of 1,000 rupees. So because of this, what will happen if you select the wrong code or wrong column for this fees, then there would be defect in your appeal memo, and that defect will be communicated to you. And for this 1,000 rupees, you would have to spend more than 1,000 rupees to get this defect curated. Because for this, you have to approach your jurisdictional assessing officer. You have to make the application to him within a reasonable time. Okay, that this is, I have to make this correction, and is not sure that whether your correction would be in only one visit or two visit or multiple visits. So rather than going through that channel, you take care at the time of filing the fee. You have to select others, right? You have to select the other. Don't fill in any other column. So take precaution. Otherwise, you will have to incur more cost. And your appeal, if your defect has not been curated, your appeal may get dismissed on this technical ground. So precaution shall be taken at the time of payment of these fees. Now here, section 249, subsection 4 says, no appeal under the chapter shall be admitted unless at the time of filing the appeal, where written. See, now there are many misunderstandings or misconceptions in the mind of many consultants that when the return of income has been filed by the SSC, for which we are filing the appeal, for the assessment year for which we are filing the appeal, if return of income has been filed, then the SSC must have paid the tax due on that filed return. Means the original return has been filed, then you have to see that SSC has paid the tax due on that original return filed at the time of filing the appeal against that assessment year. If no return of income has been filed, then you have to see that the SSC must have paid the amount equal to the advance tax which would have been payable had the return of income been filed by the SSC on that income, for that income. So this you have to see. If return of income has been filed, they have to see that the return income tax is paid. If no return of income has been filed, then you have to see that amount equal to the advance tax on the income which would have been declared by the SSC had he filed the return of income. Right? As far as this is concerned, second point is concerned, you may have the exemption from the CIT appeal. Rather, you have to apply for that. See, I have not paid the tax, but you are kindly requested. So you have to give the reasons that why you did not pay the tax. So you give the reasons that why you could not pay the tax, and the CIT appeal may exempt you from payment of tax and can admit the appeal. Right. Now, a question comes, as I said, there are misconception or misunderstanding in minds of many consultants that whether payment of 20% of demand is precondition for filing the appeal. What happens after the demand has been raised and you fail to pay the payment, you fail to make the payment within 30 days, as been specified under section 156, that the demand notice, then AO starts sending you the notices. The jurisdictional AO starts sending you the notices that pay the demand, you have to pay the demand, 20% of the demand. Otherwise, we will take the coercive action, we will seize your bank account, we will seize your property, etc., etc. Now here, that 20% what he is asking to pay, it is not a precondition. Kindly note that this is not a precondition. Many of us having misunderstanding that we have to make the payment of this 20%, then only we are allowed to make the, then only we are allowed to file the appeal. So that is not a condition. That is a different procedure. Only what we have to see that the SSC has paid the taxes on the returned income. That is the only condition. SSC has declared an income of 15 lakh rupees and still the tax is payable on that return income. Then yes, then SSC cannot file the appeal unless and until that tax on return income has been paid on that 15 lakh rupees. Addition has been made of 1 crore rupees. We need not to pay that tax on this addition of 1 crore rupees for filing the appeal. That 20%, assessing officer is demanding 20%, but that is nothing to do with your filing of appeal. So you can file the appeal by making sure only that whether return income tax has been paid or not. So 20% is not the precondition for filing the appeal. That is very sure. Then, see, the procedure in appeal is given in 250. There is one point which is rather everybody is facing right now. We'll discuss later on also. Time limit to pass an order. See, now section 250 subsection 6A is specifically given. What is this given? Subsection 6A, here I produced the same. In every appeal, the joint commissioner of appeal or commissioner of appeal, as the case may be, where it is possible, may hear and decide such appeal within a period of 1 year from the end of the financial year in which such appeal is filed before him under subsection 1 itself. Now here, everybody may be thinking that we have filed the appeal since 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, but still there is no order. See, first year it is, see, I have highlighted, I have rather underlined that word, where it is possible. Right. So it is, see, whether it is mandatory or directory, it is only directory because it is what we can, it is a quasi-judicial authority. CIT appeal is a quasi-judicial. So one cannot put a compulsion to pass the order within that time limit only. So where it is possible, and to my experience, right, during this last 21 years of my practice, I did not see a single case where it was possible for the, with due respect to all these authorities, where it was possible for the Commissioner of Appeals to pass this order, right? Because in the faceless, in doing this, or rather, this has increased much after this faceless. In 2020 they have introduced this faceless, and in faceless means, when personally speaking, then many of my cases were stuck up in this. Many early hearing, I have applications I have made, in many cases early disposal applications, but still no communication from this, right? So here, but we don't have any alternate here. We have to change. They are not going to change. We have to change. We have to wait, right? And whatever remedies, we will discuss about that. Just recently in 2024 also, the guideline have been given by the CBDT. We'll refer to that, right? So in this scenario, we have to change. They are not, if the situation is not changing, then, and if we cannot change the situation, then we have to change. I'm just remembering 4 lines on that. नहीं ताकत जो तुझमें की मंदिर को हिला दे, नहीं ताकत जो तुझमें की मंदिर को हिला दे, मधुशाला में जा, 2 पेग लगा और मंदिर को हिलता हुआ देख. So here, we need not to go to the Madhushala for this, right? Just on the lighter mode. So we have to change. We have to take the remedies to resolve this issue. Whatever the guidelines given by the CBDT, time to time, we will discuss later on also. So this is not a mandatory on the appellate authority to pass this order within 1 year, because it is a directory only. If it is possible, where it is possible, then only they can pass this order. There is no time limit. There is no binding on that. So what is the remedy available with us? We will discuss later on. Then, as far as powers are concerned, we'll just see section 1 and 1A for this disposing of appeal. The powers, the powers. See, powers of the commissioner are coterminous with the powers of the assessing officer. Means whatever powers assessing officer has, all the powers the CIT, the appellate authorities are having. Whatever powers the assessing officer have, all these powers are being held by the commissioner of appeals also. That may be commissioner of appeal, that may be joint commissioner. So they may confirm the addition, they may reduce the addition, they may enhance the addition, or they may annul the assessment. They may cancel the assessment. In case of a penalty, they may confirm the penalty, or they may delete or cancel the penalty, or they may enhance or to reduce the penalty. All the rights they have. In any other case, he may pass such order in the appeal. In any other case, then as he think fit, he may make the order. Now our role starts. So what we have to take into account. So we will discuss here. First is drafting the precise statement of fact and the grounds of appeal. Right, now this is very, very important to present the statement of facts and grounds of appeal. In sometimes we make some confusion, or we make some misunderstanding in statement of fact. Statement of fact is what? Statement of fact is nothing but a concise commentary of the assessment order. It is the brief of the assessment order. Statement of fact means what has been happened. Right. So assessment order means for example, the learned AO has issued notice of so and so, it has been reopened, or what is 143.2 has been selected under CAS, whatever. Right. Then assessment, the learned AO has issued so and so notices, SSC has submitted so and so documents. So after considering this, he has passed the order. Whether he has considered, not considered, we need not to write. Just we have to write, we have made the submission, whatever points he taken into account, and he has passed the order, what additions he has made, what penalties he has initiated. Right. So this is only the statement of facts. Here you need not, he should have considered these, he should have considered these. We need not to mix up the grounds with the statement of facts. So statement of facts is nothing but the crux of the assessment order. Only 4 or 5 things you have to write. How your assessment has been reopened by issuing so and so notices. Then these notices have been issued by the so and so notices have been issued by the AO. SSC has made the submission on the issues. Then what are the points taken into account? What are the points not taken into account? And the assessing officer has made so and so additions and make the completed the assessment. Nothing doing. Only the crux, only the brief of the assessment order. In grounds of appeal, the ground, you must be very careful in drafting the grounds. It is not key you have taken the multiple grounds, then the authority will listen to you, or authority will say that, yeah, this 10, 12 grounds are within, this is a very learned chartered accountant or learned concern. This is not. Right. You have to take precise grounds, limited number of grounds, covering your all the issues. Covering your all issue. In some cases, your one ground may suffice. Right. Have provided it must be a concise and you are hitting the issue. Right. So grounds here. In grounds, you have to bifurcate on the legal grounds and the grounds on merit. Firstly, chronologically, you have to take the grounds on legal. Say, for example, you are objecting to the notice under 148. So take the legal ground first. Right. All the legal grounds. You're objecting to 148 also, you're objecting to assessment also. Take all these legal grounds. And grounds on merit. Yeah, I've made this submission but has not been considered, not being appreciated. Take these grounds. I have provided this certificate but not taken into account. Take these grounds without prejudice. Don't forget to use the word without prejudice to the above grounds. Right. Rather, I would suggest that for every ground you shall write without prejudice to the other grounds. And then on the facts and prevailing circumstances of the case and in law, the learned AO has erred in making the assessment or issuing 140 or reopening, whatever it is. Hence, the addition may please be deleted or the penalty may be deleted. Right. So without prejudice, because when you write without prejudice, then you can have the right on both of your grounds. If your legal ground get dismissed, you have a case on merit. If your legal ground get accepted, you need not to press your grounds on merit. Right. So you can have. So this word is very important, without prejudice to the other grounds. Right. So better to write before every ground that without prejudice to the other grounds. And then you start your ground. So automatically you are keeping right over both the grounds, your legal ground also and your grounds on merit also. It must cover all the points. Say 5 additions are there, then take one common ground for all and take separate ground for each of your addition. Take separate ground for each of your addition. And then you can make the submission accordingly, the ground-wise submission. Right? Please remember, at the time of taking the ground, your last ground must be your general ground. Don't forget to add that general ground. To add, alter, amend, or withdraw the above grounds. If you put this, then you may take the additional. You can alter your grounds. You can change your grounds. You can revise your grounds. You can take additional grounds. But in original grounds, this last ground, you take last ground. That is a general ground. This appellant must reserve his right to add, alter, amend, or withdraw the above grounds. So on the basis of, if you fail to take this ground, then appellate authority may reject your stand that you did not take this, or you did not reserve your right to alter, amend, revise your grounds. So be careful that after completing all your grounds, last ground must be common ground, general ground to add, alter, amend, or withdraw the above grounds. Right? Take care of that. Legal grounds, as I said, legal grounds and on merit shall be without prejudice to the other grounds. So I'll start from every grounds of appeal, you start without prejudice. So that will take care. That will take care of your reservation on the both the grounds. Then additional ground we will discuss here. Additional ground. Now, first is what is additional ground? Additional ground is the ground which you missed to take at the time of filing form number 35, because along with the form number 35, you have to file your statement of fact and grounds of appeal. So by any way, you have missed that ground. And now you have realized that, that ground I shall take here. Right. So that is your additional ground. Means additional ground is the ground which you have not taken earlier at the time of filing the appeal, but right now you are taking the ground. So that is the additional ground. Of course, whenever you are taking additional ground, there is no ground to dismiss the additional ground before the appellate authority. There is no ground to dismiss this because see there is as such there is no provision in the income tax which prohibits the appellant from raising the additional ground of appeal before CIT appeal or the tribunal. Right. But on the contrary, if you go through the subsection 5 of section 250, it says that CIT appeal may admit additional ground at the time of hearing, provided the omission to raise such ground in the form of appeal was not willful or unreasonable. So here you have to see both are contradictory because there is as such no prohibition on the SSC to take the additional ground. But the section itself says subsection 5 of 250 says that he may admit this additional ground if SSC proves that the omission of the ground was not willful and unreasonable. So theoretically you have to prove, technically also you have to prove, practically also you have to prove that why you could not take that ground. Right. So simply you may write that the ground has been missed inadvertently. Right. You can surrender. This is if it is if what we can say, if there is a genuine reason for not taking that, right. Say for example, it may happen that the client or the assessee may take the opinion of different chartered accountants. One may say that these 3 grounds must be taken. Another may say that no, 3 only 2 are sufficient. And then he listens and files the appeal with the 2 grounds only. And thereafter he realizes that that 3rd ground was also important. So in that case, you may brief a fact and you can file this. Or you may say that inadvertently it has been missed. Right. So on that ground, your additional ground get admitted. The courts, however, read the aforesaid limitation within the larger substantive framework provided by the explanation. Now, explanation to section 251, what explanation says? See, section 250, subsection 5, and the explanation to 250, 251, these are both are contradictory. And therefore, courts are taking the substantive view. What explanation to 251 says? That in disposing of appeal, the Joint Commissioner of Appeal may consider and decide any matter arising out of the proceedings in which order appeal against was passed, notwithstanding, in spite that such matter was not raised before Joint Commissioner of CIT appeal, as the case may be by the appellant. Means the power is given to the appellate authority that even if the appellant failed to take any ground, they suo motu can consider that ground, that make that ground and can decide the appeal. And what subsection 5 of 250 says, that if the appellant proves that it was not willful or it was we have just is not willful and here it was not willful and unreasonable. So in that case, these both are contradictory statements. So on this basis, court has given liberal view that additional evidence at any point of time, even you missed at the CIT appeal level, you may take it at a tribunal level. If legal ground is missed at ITT level, you may take it at High Court or Supreme Court, because legal ground can be taken at any stage of appeal. So here also you can take this additional ground, but technically you have to prove that if you are taking from assess's point of view, then you have to prove that it was not willful or because of the unreasonable situation. So here Delhi High Court, in case of Taylor Instrument Company, it is observed that under 265 of the Constitution is entitled to impose and recover the tax only in accordance with the law. It is the duty of the state to see that the justice is done to its citizen. So merely because SSC failed to give a reason that why he could not take the additional ground, it should not be dismissed. It should not be rejected. Rather, using the taking the shelter of explanation to section 251, Commissioner of Appeal shall suo motu take into account that ground, even if it's missed by the SSC. Right. So here, So in any case, you can take this additional ground, and you can give the reason for that. So therefore, shelter should not ordinarily be taken behind the procedural technicalities with a view to defeat the just claim of the SSC. So from this appellate authority, it should not be rejected as it is. So he shall admit that additional ground, and he has to decide this. See, decision, he may give any decision, maybe favorable decision, maybe unfavorable decision, but he has to decide that additional ground, right? Merely because that is being delayed, so justice shall not be denied. Merely because this additional ground has been delayed by the SSC, justice shall not be denied. Right. So this care must be taken by the appellate authorities. Yeah. Similarly, likely in case of additional evidence, you can produce this. You can take that ground which you could not raise earlier at the time of filing appeal. You can give the additional evidence. Now, what is additional evidence? Additional evidence is the document which you could not produce before the AO during the assessment, and now you would like to submit it, furnish it before the appellate authority to support your ground. So that is called as additional evidence. Here also, for that additional evidence, you have to file the application, separate application. So your document which could not be furnished before the AO, the same shall be see at the time of filing the appeal, take care that there you have to mention that what additional, whether you are going to rely on additional evidence. There you have to write it yes, and you have to give the list. Safer side, you give the list of all the books of accounts. Safer side, right? Because the appellate authority may not reject it merely because you did not mention it in your form number 35. So you give the list of all and may write that all other documents supporting my ground. Give this general item, right? Write the general, right? So in support of my ground, whatever the supporting documents, give the list of that documents also, right? So here there is no as such for additional evidence also for additional ground. There is as such no form, separate form. You have to just make the application, general application. But in case of additional evidence, the evidences which you could not produce before the AO during the assessment, you are now producing before the appellate authority. For that, you have to make an application under Rule 46A. As per Rule 46A, you can take this additional evidences before the CIT appeal. So you have to make the appeal, and in that again in that application, you have to give the reasonable cause that why you are prevented during the assessment by producing this evidences before the AO. You have to give the reason that why you could not produce these evidences before the assessing officer. Now, what is the procedure after you submit these additional evidences, and if these additional evidences are being accepted, then what is the procedure? Then some disturbance is there. So if these additional evidences are accepted, then CIT appeal shall send all these additional evidences to the jurisdictional assessing officer for the remand report. He calls for the remand report from the jurisdictional assessing officer. Then if jurisdictional assessing officer wants, and generally he issues notice to the SSC also, that this remand report, the CIT appeal has asked for the remand report, and he asks you to file the evidences before him also. Then you file all the evidences which you have already taken before the CIT appeal, the additional evidences along with your submission. You make the submission before the AO. Then AO prepares the report, and then it gives the remand report to the CIT appeal. Then if that report is a adverse report, then CIT generally again gives it to the SSC and asks for the rejoinder to that. So whenever you are getting that report, then it is your responsibility to file the rejoinder. You have to make your comments. If it is adverse, generally when it is favorable, then there is no need, na. when the remand report itself is in your favor, then the CIT appeal may make the order on that basis. You need not to give the opportunity. When the opportunity is needed only when something adverse has come in the remand report. So CIT appeal sends you the remand report, then you have to counter your objections taken by the learned assessing officer, and you have to file the rejoinder to this remand report. Then, after considering the remand report, your rejoinder, all the submission made by you earlier, all the additional evidences, and then CIT appeal take the decision on that basis. Right. So after you file this application for 46A, so this procedure you have to follow. As the CIT appeal sends this to the AO, then AO sends the remand report. That is their internal procedure. So what is your procedure when you have to act on that procedure whenever you get the remand report, and then you have to file the rejoinder, and then CIT appeal take the decision on that. This is your responsibility. If you keep mum on that remand report, then CIT appeal is free to file to take the decision as per the remand report and as per the submission you made earlier. Yeah, this we have discussed. Then copy of remand report being submitted to you, and you have to file the rejoinder. Then you have to file that rejoinder on that. Okay, so as far as this additional ground is concerned, we have completed. Then additional evidences also. Then authorized representative. So firstly, can authorized representative be added? The answer is of course yes. Can it be filed through appeal? Also can be filed through the authorized representative. You must have seen that here the tab comes whenever your appeal assessment or your appeal comes in the reflects in your portal. Here this add plus view authorized representative. So you have to add your authorized representative. You have to give the details of that, contact number also, email also, and you have to upload the power of attorney, whatever you have taken from this from the authorized representative. Yeah, this is very important question that sometimes there may be some technical difficulty in that. On a plain paper, you have submitted this power of attorney, but that is not acceptable because stamp duty is applicable on that. Stamp duty is applicable. You have to take that print of power of attorney. You have to print that power of attorney on an appropriate stamp paper. Right. So from state to state is different. Say, for example, in Maharashtra, in our state, the stamp paper of 500 is needed for the power of attorney. Right. So it depends on the state to state. So you have to verify that in your state, what is the amount specified for the stamp duty for this power of attorney. So you have to take the print of that power of attorney on the appropriate stamp paper only. Whether multiple ARs can be appointed. Yes, of course, you can add multiple ARs, but in the ITD portal, you are allowed to insert the information of only one authorized representative. So you have to choose that of whom you have to insert them. You may consult with other, you may appoint another, but in ITD portal, only one details of only one AR allowed. Yeah. Now making the submission. This is a very, very important part, that making the submission. So prepare the comprehensive ground-wise written submission. See, simple. First submission shall be, you have to give the facts, whatever you had taken earlier at the time of filing the appeal. You mention all the facts there as it is facts. Then you mention all the grounds which you have taken, and then make the ground-wise submission. Don't start abruptly. Right. So you maintain the sequence, give the facts first, then reproduce your grounds first, and then one by one give the submission ground wise. Then make the annexures of your submission. Make the paper book of that. Paper book is really the appellant authority appreciate your submission. If you prepare a paper book which is indexed and numbered, then whenever you are referring in your submission, whenever you are referring to any of the pages of the paper book, you mention the page number, highlight the matter which you want that CIT appeal shall emphasize thereon. You highlight, you underline the matter, right? And you mention your submission that the relevant part and the page number so and so is highlighted or underlined. You mention that because we know that this in faceless era, You see, as far as in the earlier era, face-to-face era, it was possible to turn that particular page before him, that page number so and so, page number so and so, and we could highlight that or we could point out that paragraph or that line. But as far as this faceless is concerned, if you give all the documents, say 500 pages documents you have submitted, but that is without paper book, without numbering, then how CIT appeal would be in a position to read that, or how he would be in a position to study that case and dispose that case. So this is one of the reasons why there is a delay in disposing the appeal, because he is not in a position. You have submitted everything, no doubt you have submitted, and the question comes that I have submitted everything, but still no communication, no order is there. I have submitted, but that submission must be in a paper book form. That must be indexed. That must be numbered. Means even if thousands of pages are there and they are indexed, they are numbered, and relevant page numbers you have been mentioned in your submission, then he will not get irritated of them. Right, he will get easy to refer, and he may decide the case as is earliest. So this will help in disposing of your appeal at the earliest by following these manners. Yeah, as far as see, many times what happens, there are certain documents which are in our local language. Say, for example, CHOP Act is given by local authority. This is in, say, in Marathi, that may be in Hindi, that may be in any language, your local language. So it's better that you shall give that original copy in local language supported by the English translated copy. You translate only the relevant para to which you are referring. If you have, say, 10 pages document with a local language, you need not to give unless you refer to whole of the document. If you refer the page, 2 pages only, so it is suffice if this only 2-page translation is given to the CIT appeal. Not necessary that you should give the whole translation, but it would facilitate him to decide your case and to understand your case, basically. And when the case is being understood, then it would be easy to dispose the case at the earliest. So whenever papers are being submitted in the local languages, then English translation shall be given. Then all documents shall be certified by the SSC or whatever is the authorized person. It should be certified. In many of the cases, I have seen that merely because the legal statements have not been signed by the SSC or not certified by the SSC, the appeal has been rejected. Right. So here you have to take, if it is a businessman, you take a stamp and get it signed of the SSC each and every point, or you may put a digital signature on that. But it should be certified by the SSC or the authorized person. Wherever you are relying on the judicial pronouncement, then give the crux of that. It has been held by Honorable so and so High Court, and the copy. Don't forget to attach the copy of the judgment. Right. So try to facilitate the appellate authority, not to complicate it. Right. He will not, because the huge pendency is there. So for you, he may not take the efforts to search that case law. So if he get at hand, then he may, as I said, all these are supported to the early disposal of your cases or easy understanding of the case. Right. And all the submission at the time of taking the decisions, he may appreciate your submission if you give this in this manner. Citation should be preferably downloaded from the Taxman, ITR, ITAT, or any other reliable sources. And my appeal to all of you, the last important line, please don't use ChatGPT for the citations. Don't use, because it is not at all reliable. Not at all reliable. You may have just, for example, you may write anything, any issue, any ground, and ask him to give the citations. He will give number of citations to you, but please see, out of 9, out of 10, all 10 will be wrong. I have experienced it, and here I just came across that in some, I don't know the bench, I'm not remembering right now. In one bench, the tribunal member has passed the order by relying on the ChatGPT citation. All the citations were wrong. So don't use ChatGPT. Yeah, ChatGPT for some limited purposes, for drafting these facts, for drafting some limited purposes, the grounds you may use. The language is gives a very sophisticated language, right? But apply your own mind for the grounds. For statement of facts, he will give you smartly the brief as possible, right? But grounds, don't rely on it. Apply your own mind for drafting. And for citation, absolutely not using this, right? So citation for use all the reliable sources, that is Taxman, ITR, ITT, or other reliable sources, right? They will give you the proper citations. Then yes, VC, video conferencing. That is VC, right? You can ask this VC. See, VC, when VC can be asked when the case is complex. When you think that only papers won't be able to speak before CIT appeal. So it's better that you shall speak before. So you can ask for this. You can there whenever, see, you might see that the tab is there, video conference. You have to click at, you have to apply for that. So you have to just follow that procedure, right? So then it get fixed. You get a mail that with a date and time. If that date and time is not suitable for you, you can take the adjournment for that, right? But that adjournment at least before the date and time of that. After the date and time has been lapsed, then you cannot take the adjournment. You get lost your opportunity of video conferencing. So adjournment. So for this, a technical VC adjournment, the tab is there. You may take the adjournment. Yes, who can attend the VC? Whether compulsorily shall be attended by the SSC or the learner, the authorized representative can attend. Yes, both can attend the VC, provided you have registered your AR there. You have registered your AR with the valid power of attorney. Then both can attend. Both can attend. No bar that VC shall be attended by the SSC only. Both can attend. Can VC recording can be downloaded? Yes, that you have to apply to the NFAC for getting the VC downloaded, and in that tab itself, it's get downloaded. There is some time limit. During that time, you have to download it. You can download. You can make the submission through your VC also, and in your VC, then you can explain the case. As I said, you are not able to see the face of the that authority because it is a faceless, but that authority can see you. And he can judge you from your expressions. He can also judge that whatever you are arguing, whether it is acceptable or not acceptable, right? So this, of course, VC can be downloaded and you can use it later on also. Then yes, request for early hearing and out of turn disposal. So this is very much needed because this in faceless, as I said, in my personal cases, there's list of the appeals which are pending since last 5 years, 6 years. Multiple notices I have received stating that please give your submission. I have to dispose of the case. In one case, I have received 4 notices stating the same thing, that please submit your submission. You have submitted the submission earlier. In addition to that, if you want to say something, you can file. Or 4 times I have specifically said that I need not to state anything more than whatever I have submitted. Please dispose of my case. Since last 2 years, I am making this submission, but no action on that. Right? There are many cases. So here there is one circular, just 7th March 2024. The CBDT has given a guideline to their officers that you have to apply for. You have to listen to this early hearing and you have to take action on this early hearing or out of the turn disposal. So, but there is certain criteria for that. There are certain criteria for that. So these are the criteria. 5 criteria in which you can have this early hearing or out of turn disposal. First is that your demand must exceed 1 crore rupees. Your demand must exceed 1 crore rupees. Second, cases where a VIP or PMO reference is received for expedition of this disposal. This received from the VIP or PMO reference has been received. Cases where directions of this effect have been issued by the court. Court has given disposal. You might have seen many orders where the court has specifically directed that dispose this case within 3 months or receipt of this order, or within 2 months or within 1 month. So in that case, they have to dispose it out of turn. cases where request is made by the senior citizen or super senior citizen, the person who age 60 or more or 80 or more. So if request is being received from them or any other case of genuine hardship, so then this is the general where you have to prove that genuine hardship there. You have to prove. So in all these cases, you can apply for this early hearing or out of turn disposal. This application you have to make to the jurisdictional assessing officer. The question comes that where this application shall be made. This has to be made before the jurisdictional assessing officer. Then jurisdictional assessing officer send this to the range head. Then range head is sent it to the PCIT office, and then PCIT to the PCCIT or CCIT office. And then CCIT, the respective CCIT or whatever the authority specified, they issue, that is CCIT NFAC. And then it has been communicated to the respective CIT where your case stands. And then he takes your case for the early hearing. So this is the procedure for that. That is their internal matter. You have to make the application to the jurisdictional assessing officer. Precautions to be taken. See, update the contact details. What are the precautions you have to take during this appellate proceeding? Update the contact details of the SSC or AR in the portal as well as in the form number table. Please see that all the details of mobile number, email ID has been updated on the site as well as while filing the form number 35. Right. Now, so what happens ki your registration might have been done by any person long back. His mobile number, his email had been given at that time. And then your assessment order has also been passed, not communicated. All the messages were hit on his mobile number. You did not get any type of communication from him because he might have left your job. Right. So whenever any notice come or whenever you see your portal, you update your contact details, your email ID. For primary, give your mobile number and your email. And for secondary, give the, means you are in the sense the SSC's mobile number and email ID. And for secondary, give our email ID. And means if by any reason the SSC forgets to track that, we can track the same because we may get it on our mail. So in secondary, you write your mobile number and email ID. And even in 35 also, give mobile number of your client and give mobile email ID of yours. Means in both the ends, you would be able to get the communication. If a client fails, you may have the track. If you fails, client may have the track. Right. Then keep secondary email, of course, of AR. Ask SSC to keep the watch on emails, SMS, keep updated to the, because that is the only media where we can get communication from the NFAC. File timely submission in response to each notice. If it is not possible to submit, take the adjournment on the specified date. Take the adjournment in assessments also, in appeals also. Whether withdrawal of appeal is allowed. See, there is no provision for withdrawal of appeal. Say if there is, by mistake you filed the appeal twice, then there is no provision to withdraw the appeal. Simply you wait till you get the notice from the appellate authority. And then if you get notices for both the appeal, then you make the submission in one appeal, which you need not to pursue. Then file that this is being wrongly submitted. Then by disposing that appeal, only that can be closed. There is no withdrawal option, right? So you have to wait till the notice to come. And then whatever appeal you pursue, you make the submission accordingly, and whether you need not to pursue, then make the submission accordingly, and to request the appellate authority to dispose the case accordingly. Yeah, see, this may happen. I wondered actually, in 4 or 5 of our clients, see, logically also, technically also, a one PAN must be with one single CIT only. That may be joint CIT, that may be joint CIT, or that may be Commissioner of Appeal. But I have wondered that in 4 or 5 of our clients, one assessment year is with one CIT and another assessment year is with another CIT having the same PAN. How it could be possible? Because it was there. It was there. How would I come to know? See, I have received the notices from the language itself. you can see that both the authorities are different. Because see, if I am the CIT appeal and I am issuing the notices, my matter for annexures or other matter, my matter will be common. Na? Why I will change when the fact is same, when the grounds are same. So, but you are getting a different language in one notice under 215 and different language in 250. So it get proved that the same pan is bit too different. So you may take this stand that this has been happened, because in this case, what happened in my case, 1 year was with another chartered accountant, and all the 3 years with was CIT. Sorry, and all 3 years are with were with another CIT. All these 3 years have been set aside. We have requested on the same basis. We have requested that all these 3 years have been set aside. Request to set aside this year also. That are not been set aside, and that has been dismissed on the merit. So then we realized that this may happen in the faceless. Actually, it should not happen, but this is happening. The one pan is, and here, I mean, this our institute shall give the representation. Being the member of Direct Tax Committee, also, I will put up this matter in a committee also, because this should not happen. Because in this case, the SSC may get aggrieved, as I have discussed the example in my case. So then, secondly, when your assessment order is passed under section 144. That is base judgment assessment, since you could not present before the assessing officer. Now here, earlier, before 1/9/2024, there was no power with the CIT appeals to set aside the order. It was only with the tribunal, ITAT, the High Court, Supreme Court. But now from 1/9/2024, this power to set aside the order 251(1)(a) has been given to CIT appeals also. So when the order can be set aside, when you could not produce the document, you cannot you could not present before the AO, and your assessment has been passed under 144. Then you can apply, when first notice comes to you, then you can apply that because of these are the reasons because of which I could not present before the AO. So you are kindly requested to set aside my case to the file of AO. What is the advantage of setting aside? Your demand get nullified. When the order of AO has been set aside by the CIT appeal, the first advantage is that your demand get nullified. Means the pressure from the AO to recover the dues, 20% dues, or your efforts to make application for stay, that get nullified. So, but you have to give some strong evidences, your strong reasons that why you could not present before the learned AO. Then only CIT take a stand that you can, he set aside your case. Then after you get the order, then your rectification order, if you think that there is some rectification to be needed, then you can apply. If you go to the portal, then I have circled it. So go to the services, go to the rectification tab, and here rectification order passed by CIT appeal. Say for example, your submission has not been taken into account, or any other mistake apparent from record you find, you can apply for the rectification of order. Yes, so during the short time, whatever it was possible, I could cover. Hope I've covered the maximum possible. So if at all there would be any questions, or questions may be welcome. So thank you very much for your patient hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhandari sir. Thank you very much.
Yes.
One question has come from Milak. Is there any mechanism to check the status of filed appeals, sir?
No. There is no such mechanism available, because because this is the total faceless system. Even the income tax officer, even the jurisdictional CIT could not know about this. Who is the CIT? Who is the Commissioner of Appeal? There is no mechanism, and this mechanism will not come because the purpose of the faceless get defeated. There is no such mechanism.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mukesh Dua sir has requested to please make available the presentation of learned speaker to all participants.
Yeah, that I will mail.
Please take care of it, please.
Sorry?
Akshat, please take care of it. Akshat is here. Audible? Akshat?
Ji, sir.
Please make available the presentation of.
Yeah, I'll mail Akshatji. I will mail this presentation.
Okay,
Ji,
sir.
for sure, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Bandari, sir. As we come to the close of this insightful webinar, I take this opportunity to extend my heartfelt thanks to all those who made this session success. Thanks to our chairman, sir, Satish Kumar Gupta, sir, and vice chairman, sir, Vishnu Kumar Agarwal, sir. Special thanks to our distinguished speakers, Sharda ma'am and Bandari, sir. We are very thankful. Your inputs have truly enriched our understanding, sir, and added immense value of our today's session. Thanks to all members and participants, sir. And I really express my sincere thanks to organizing team for their hard work and make event seamless, sir. Thank you to all. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Bandari, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you all participants, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.